All I ever wanted, all I ever needed. Mercury Retrograde in Aquarius. Oh, wait, I see. All right. Hi. Mickle Muckle. Mixed blessings. Hi, Elaine Marilaco Settleson with Astrology Mojo. Want to help you get your mojo back. So we're going to be talking about the Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius and what it can show you. Yeah, it's been quite a busy time, right? And not just for America and the things that are happening here, but also internally for everyone. There's been a sense of exhalation. At the same time, there's a whole new, what now? What now? Saturn, Jupiter are in Aquarius, and that is going to usher in, no, I shouldn't say usher because it's already been ushered since 1988. Let me just back up. Let's just back up a second. Okay. In astrology, the planets do not make you do anything. We live in a cooperation with the cosmos so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets reflect that by way of aspects and angles, and I'm going to show you a chart in a little bit of what today looks like and where we can go with that. But I want to back up a little bit because sometimes, any astrologer will have a different opinion, of course, but where we all agree is that we are in a consciousness prodding evolutionary phase right now. So it's time to wake up. This is what's happening. It's time to wake up. And for those of us who refuse not to wake up, then my sweater is sticking to my sweater. I have two sweaters on and they're sticking to one another. For those of us who choose not to wake up, or for those who choose not to wake up, I choose to wake up. It's going to feel like a struggle, more so. It's going to feel like, but I want what I had. I want that 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 25 years ago, 16 years ago. I want that. But that is no longer viable. You see, when we move energy, we resonate a different frequency. This is all about frequency. And so when you are ready for the next level of frequency to up your vibe, you see things in the world that disturb you. You see things in your life and call it, see, evidence of what I'm able to do and what I'm not able to do. But what I want you to focus on now, forevermore, is the frequency that you output. Because that frequency is going to create your world a lot faster. And if you're going a lot faster, you don't want the struggles and the mayhem. You're going to feel stuff because that's what we are. We're sentient beings. We're going to feel stuff. But we don't have to attach to the stuff. We don't have to chat about the stuff forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever, because that makes more of the same stuff. Let me just check in very quickly. Hey, Brittany, a rough time. Breathe. Christine, yeah. I've been very busy. Missed you. Aquarius Energy, baby. Here we are. So Jupiter represents your belief system and the possibilities. Saturn represents the how. It is the building, the structure, the industry, also the limitations. So we have to be very diligent now to resonate a frequency that tells us where we are, where we can go, without buying into the evidence of what is all the time. What is all the time? And it might seem like, well, every time I try to do this thing, I can't because they won't let me. That won't let me. The conditions won't let me. So then you start to create a new frequency, a different stream of energy, and that energy moves out into the world to make more of that, right? So there's a split energy always. Your subconscious and unconscious mind is producing 95% of the show. But 5% is conscious. And what you can do with that 5% is you can take it and you can mold it and shape it into something that you really like. Now, people talk about the Aquarian age, and some people are like, oh, we have a ways to go yet, or we just entered it. It takes 2,156 years to make an age. And back in the 40s and 50s, there was a lot of advancement with technology. My feeling is we're already in it. That's my very strong feeling. We're already in the Aquarian age, but we're in the baby stage. We're liminal. We have one foot in both worlds, the past and the future. But we need to be aware of the vibe we're putting out and outputting in the present. So wherever possible, in as many moments as possible, what I'd like to see you do is to focus on a frequency. And you may look and say, I haven't heard back, about that new job, and I'm worried because I really need to make a living. So then you're focused on the lack. What is that business over there? You're focused on lack, and lack creates a vibration just like positivity creates a vibration. So lack is a fear-based, right? But you're looking at, well, it's not in front of me. So that's a reality. Okay, yeah, that's a reality. It's not the entire reality. Now on Instagram, I might have posted it here on my Facebook page, that there are 3 main portals of energy centers in your body: the brow, the heart, and the dantian, which is about 3 to 4 finger lengths below your belly button. So doing an exercise where you breathe in to any one of those areas, just pick one to start with. See how it goes, how many dreams you have, what opens up, what feelings come up. And the basic idea and premise is to inhale into that area, exhale 7 times. Inhale, exhale, and then inhale to that area. Let's say you're breathing into the heart. You breathe into the heart and exhale 7 times. And then you breathe into the heart and exhale out of the back. Inhale from the back, out of the front 7 times. Okay? So when you do, you start to open up different energy portals in your body, also known as chakras. And when you really purge the gunk and it's like a cloudy mist I see in me when it's like, oh wow, it's dark in there, I can't really see. So I breathe light, always breathing light, and I pull light from stars and galaxies into my body, and then exhale in and out 7 times, then into the heart, out of the back, and then in from the back, out of the heart. Same with the brow, same with the dantian, which is the 4 finger widths below your navel. And doing that promotes a shift in energy in your body. So I want you to take that evolutionary shift, which can be profound, and people get stuck up in the head, not the brow, but the head of, this is what I can do, and I'm going to follow these steps, and they were done by a master, and okay, you might start that way, but don't get too heady about stuff. Just actually practice what we're talking about, and you're going to lift your vibration very easily. Less trauma. Because the trauma comes from resistance and holding on to, I want that. I want what I had. I feel safe with that, even though I don't like it. I don't want to change. And Aquarius is an energy of radical transformation. Now, it doesn't have to feel like a a rebellion in your body. It doesn't, or it doesn't have to look like that in the world, although some people would want it to look like that in the world because that's what they're feeling. But here, it's up to you really to like get a grip on your vibe and what are you resonating? That's the question. I'm going to show you the chart in a second, but when we look at, there was a phase that started around 1988 with Saturn and Jupiter. I'm sorry, with Saturn and Uranus. And that had to do with refreshing, upgrading the old guard. And then again, that was a conjunction. And then in 1999, there was a square. Because as the planets rotate in the heavens, what we would look at in astrology as a transit, you would see, oh, these two planets out there, regardless of your own chart, these two planets out there are making different angles to one another. And that represents your evolution, whatever that may look like, or stasis, whatever that may look like. But you have ultimate power to grab your energy in the moment and say, even though I didn't hear back about that job, I know, I resonate. Start with the resonance, the frequency of abundance. I resonate. I'm playing with my Moldavite. I resonate the frequency of abundance. I resonate the frequency of prosperity. I resonate the frequency of vibrant, radiant health. I resonate the frequency of divine power. I resonate the frequency of communal ties and appreciation. I resonate the frequency of validation. I resonate the frequency of happiness. I resonate the frequency of joy and peace. I resonate the frequency of attraction, magnetic attraction. I resonate the frequency of happiness. Do you understand that as you start to talk yourself into the resonance, and it's about not just the wave of the frequency, but how frequent you are in your frequency. Does that make sense? How frequent you are in your frequency. And thank you, by the way, to Annie, my dear friend, who gifted me these for Christmas. They're like a burgundy color. I love them. They match half my clothes. Does that make sense? Oh, Christine, I love the way you simplify complex. Okay, well, what's complex to you? Tell me what's a complex concept. If you are watching this in a replay, please still type it in the comment section. What is complex as a concept to you in a spiritual, metaphysical way? And I would like to elucidate. I would like to help you get clear on how you can move your energy and your frequency and have it be the outcome. Because everything you already want exists. It's a matter of choice and allowing. And what gets in the way of that is resistance. I started to pull the fairies want to come out and play today. And I pulled two cards I've never pulled before. So this is new for me. And I'll get to those in a second as well. So Aquarius represents, here, let me show you my screenshot. Oh, it worked. Okay, did I spell everything right? Yeah, looks weird to me today. Okay, Jupiter, what's possible? What's possible with Jupiter? What do you believe? Because at the core of your belief system is your resistance and your limitation. You might say, oh, I really want to believe what Elaine is saying, but look at my life. You know, I have, this asthma I can't get rid of. I've got this excess weight. I've got, bills. I can't seem to get ahead. So just regurgitating the old I can't is going to make that bigger than what you can do. What can you do in the moment is start being grateful and appreciate. I appreciate my pillow. I have actually 2 pillows. I appreciate the comfort of my sheets and blankets. I appreciate how you guys appreciate me. I appreciate where I live and the environment. I appreciate when it rains. I appreciate the smell of petrichor. I appreciate. So when I put myself in a place of appreciation, what I start to believe becomes grander, bigger, more possible. You see, it just eases the resistance. Saturn is how to get there. It's the structure, it's the industry, it's the work that we think we have to do and that sometimes we do have to do. But it's also what limits you. And so when you start to say things like, especially in the Mercury in retrograde, which we're in the shadow phase right now. If you're listening to this on a replay, January 30th through February 20th of 2021 is the Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius. And wherever 6 degrees through 11 degrees of Aquarius is in your chart, you're really going to feel this the most. But Aquarius is in everyone's chart, so you're going to feel this. And remember, from the point of view of the Earth, it looks like the planet is moving backwards when it's not. It's really not. But what it represents is your perceptions. Now is the time to go inward, just as we are at the beginning phase of Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius, into what do I believe is true for my freedom? For the sake of my freedom, my ability to serve, but not at the sake of myself. Saturn serves, but always with the idea that you have to suffer and struggle in order to serve. That's a part of you that says, I feel guilty if I have more than somebody else, or I minimize my power in a group of people who haven't really arrived at their power yet. That's a Saturn representation looks like in a person. But when we have a Mercury in retrograde, Mercury is all about communication. And Aquarius is all about freedom. Just think Spock, that's science-based, that's metaphysical, that's musical, that's also energetic in a way that's vibrational healing. And when you start to move your own energy, you start to create a disruption in the field. And what it looks like in your body is, oh, ow, all I did was stand up and my back seized. Okay, well, since Saturn represents bones, joints, skin, teeth, nails, the basic structure of your body, which part of you is not wanting that freedom to manifest? Which part of you is not wanting the ability to feel powerful? That's the question. When Mercury is retrograde in Aquarius, it's a time of empowerment through sobriety, through feeling, yeah, that's possible. But we need to make a few adjustments along the way. What does my tricorder reading say? There's no life in that room. Well, that means we need to put life in that room. Whatever that room is inside of you. Does that make sense? Let me just get to the questions if anybody here. Hi, Alexandra. Hey, Casey's here. Laura Lee as well. Christine says, I took 2 years of energy medicine, clearing and cleaning chakras. You summed it up in 2 minutes. Did I really? Okay. Okay, well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I will take that as a testimonial. Okay, everything that I talk about, I apply. Everything that I talk to you about, I have already applied to my life. Or as I discover it, I pass it on to you. Because I resonate the frequency of constant awareness. I resonate the frequency of openness. I download new stuff, and sometimes I have to take in the information and think, well, how does that feel? I don't even know what that means. Let me just go over what they just said, whoever I'm listening to. Or studying, because, not just in astrology, but in metaphysics and in quantum physics. I look at the health and the body. I look at how the mind affects the body. I look at I feel what my spirit is talking to me about. So if you're having difficulty with a concept, and I'm going to throw another concept at you, and that is to ponder this. that you have a higher self, and that higher self is like, we look at things, we tend to look at things literally. So I say to somebody, you have a higher self, and they look up and they go, okay, where is it? What is it supposed to feel like? What does it look like? Higher self is also inside of you. So the higher self is the part of you that knows your truth as you are discovering your truth. It's like saying there are 1,000,000 rooms in your house, but you only see 6. But the higher self is like, I have the key to every door. I'm right here. So I want you to tap into your higher self during this Mercury in retrograde, especially the pre-phase when you start to see things changing. And, it being an Aquarius might deal with technology for you. You might have to upgrade stuff. So you have to be careful to back up all your systems before you start upgrading in a Mercury in retrograde, especially with Aquarius at the helm, because it is ruled by Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus right now. You must value the technology, or it takes you down a rabbit hole of haywire. Okay? Does that make sense? Now, this is a great time of ideas coming through as well. So that's when if this is new for you, the bridge and the threshold with Mercury and Aquarius represents, I can go to a new place. Now, for some people, that's a plane of existence. For some people, it's meeting their spirit guides, angels, starseeds, galactic council. For some people, it's, let me just think about what she just said. Do you mean that everything I see is just temporary and I can change what I see, even though it still looks like what I see? But I can, exactly. Your resonance, your frequency is all based on feeling. So because you're a sentient being, it's really important that you feel your feelings, but the ones that bring you back in time to, that feeling of angst, sadness, resentment, terror, fear, annoyance, cynicism, all the downers, okay? Because as I talked about last week in last week's show with Mars conjuncting Uranus in Taurus, it could be about anarchy and rebellion and stuff breaking. Or it can be about, I broke the mold. my husband, let me just tell you something. My husband gave me for Christmas, and I love him. He is not just my gatekeeper, but he throws these things at me, and I'm like, I'm going to try that. Let me just move this for a second. And he gave me a book called Tarot and Astrology, which is fascinating, and I'm reading it. And I'm not that well versed in actual tarot. I know a couple of the things, but now I am dreaming left and right of people giving me cards, and I'm seeing things, right? And I had to write a scene in one of the books that I'm writing, and I was been stuck for months, don't know where to go with it. And someone who was also a writer said to me, well, just give yourself like a month. Just take a month and just do and so I tried. That didn't work because, life is happening as I'm trying to finish the scene. And I thought, okay, I don't know. It has to do with this kind of a character and this kind of a character, and I need to know their relationship, and I need to know how it progresses the story. So I took out my, I have the Ciro Marchetti, hang on. I have the Ciro Marchetti Gateway to the Divine Tarot book. And as I'm learning this, it's really fun and very, very accurate and great information. And I'm playing with the cards, and I am focused on, okay, this one character that I have to write in. I don't know this character, but I keep seeing a visual. I keep seeing this guy. He looks like a general. He's like big, bulky, square head, graying hair. But it's just his attitude. His attitude is bold, but he's playful. And I just keep seeing this. So I'm playing with the cards, and I pull a card for who this guy is. And I pull the Emperor card. And in the definitions, it talks about Leo, fire energy, like a general. I'm like, yes, that's him. And so then I pulled another character card and I pulled the situation. So I've been using tarot to help me understand the correlation between tarot and astrology, which some people may already know and can spew it. I'm just learning that. But how it applies to the story that I'm writing and the scenes that I'm writing. Well, in one spread, I got the entire chapter. I couldn't write fast enough. It was such a relief. And that's what it feels like. This is the threshold you're going to cross when you're focused on using science, technology, something you value, metaphysics, music, and or the idea of energy, a frequency, altering the vibration. You can get to that next place and have your aha without it being traumatic. Now, we're going to feel stuff along the way. That's always a given, but you don't have to attach to it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay, so getting back to Brian Froud's The Fairy Oracle with Jessica Macbeth's interpretation. I pulled 2 cards regarding Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius. Coming up, if you're watching this in a replay on YouTube, which I haven't even uploaded the last 10 shows, but we're working on some new technology. There it is. Aquarius. Jupiter in Aquarius, Saturn in Aquarius, setting the structure, finding a new way, a new stream of energy or technology. What is that business? To make it work. Okay, so I pull a card. It's called The Friends. He is the cutest little guy. Look at this guy. Whee! So I have to read because I don't know this. Friendly cooperation with others is necessary to reach mutual goals. Now, this is regarding Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius, January 20th. We're in the prephase, so we can include today and now. Today is the 21st of January. Through February 20th, let's add another 10 days, so like the 1st of March. Willingness to give and receive assistance and support is also required. Ask friends for help and suggestions, listen with respect, and accept the gifts willingly offered. Unconditional receiving is even more difficult than unconditional giving. So it has been for me. 4 feet are more stable than 2. I love it. Alternatively, look around you. Someone you love may be needing your help and too bound up with fear and rejection and pride to ask for help. So it'll do you good, it'll do them good. So that's what friends, basically, relying on your friends for support right now and asking for help. The frequency, if you get stuck, by the way, on that, if you think, oh, I'll just do it myself, okay, great, you could do it yourself. But during this retrograde, you might come across something where you really are not able to get to the bottom of things or the answer. So that's a great thing to just say to a friend, reality check. I just want to check in and say, I've been having these dreams about this thing, or I have this feeling about this person. What's your take on that? Let me just give it to you objectively. Because remember, we're going to go Spock emotionally right now. It's going to be very, let's think about that. Let me gather the intel. Okay. So once I have gathered everything, I will make a fair and just assessment, because ultimately Aquarian energy is humanitarian. So it doesn't bend to either side. Makes sense? So the other card that I pulled, which, I have to say I love these cards, but the typeface is so hard to read. Mickalamuckle. That's fun. Mickalamuckle. He looks like he's got an acorn hat on. And it says, everyday blessings. Here, I'll just play and mixed blessings. And let me read this while I hold this up and you can see. Mickalamuckle, a.k.a. a mixed, where are you? A mixed blessing, is a Grig of good family. As you have doubtless heard, Grigs are merry, so merry that they have become proverbial for it. They want you to be merry too, with a childlike open heart. Yay! Little things come in good packages. I love that. He is a little thing and therefore is good and well packaged in his skin. This is fairy logic and I'm not responsible for it. Mickle can be foolish, silly, playful, absurd. Goofing around. Reminder that you have a child in you who needs to play and be cherished. And that there is a mixed blessing everywhere. Mickle is a great adventurer and explorer of life. This describes Aquarius energy. He leads us to hidden surprises and magical places if we let him. Okay, so let's rely on friends. Let's go to more magical places during this retrograde, but also keep in mind that the whole objective is to start moving your frequency. So again, music, technology, science, healing, energy, vibrational healing is going to be huge. And moving that vibe toward what you love. And, you know, the concepts that I have acquired over time, especially when I started off in the 80s, working with Bartholomew and Abraham and working with my own higher self, which was... You know, there was a lot of resistance on my part. Like, yeah, okay, let's see it in practice. I'll see it when I see it, I'll believe it. But then I quickly switched to believing is actually seeing. So the more you can believe that you are capable and powerful enough to move something, an energy in you. We're not talking about, oh, I'm going to win the lottery. Watch me. Or I'm going to, you know, get a new car for free. Watch me. Okay, great. I want to get rid of that, and it's bothering me. Okay, but I'm talking about moving an energy in you that keeps you stuck. Where are you stuck? Where do you feel like it's not possible? Where is that part of you? And let's look at the charts. Let me show you what we're looking at here. Okay, so we've got the moon, Mars, and Uranus still conjunct, all within 8 degrees. And yesterday, during the inauguration here in America, it was exact 6 degrees. And there was a shift in energy that I felt. Maybe you felt it too. No matter what your political or personal beliefs are, the energy shift comes with this. Now let's look at what's possible from this moment on. Because now is all really that exists. And so there's that conjunction, squaring uncomfortable but needing to change. Uncomfortable, I don't know if I like this, Saturn, Sun, and Pluto. Now the Sun is in Aquarius now, along with Saturn in Aquarius, Jupiter in Aquarius, and then Mercury in Aquarius going retrograde. So this Aquarius energy is backed up by the power of Pluto. And Pluto, again, the planets are not doing anything to you, even a dwarf planet. Now that I think Pluto's coming back. I think we're going to have a revival of Pluto as an actual planet. So no matter what is happening in your world, we are moving forward. You're moving forward to the next thing. And that might be, well, you know, depending on where Mercury is retrograde and where Jupiter and Saturn are in Aquarius in your chart. If it's, let's say, in the first house, you're dealing with more physical healing, with releasing childhood trauma. If it's in your 6th house, it might be a pet who's getting ready to pass on, or you need to care for others in a way that ups your vibe first, because the more you raise your frequency, the quicker you can help other people. Not that they're going to listen or take it. Don't assume that ever, 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 ever. But you've put it out there and then it sits. It's adsorbed into their aura. Then if they choose to, they absorb it. Does that make sense? All right, let me just check in. I haven't even checked in. Sasha says, new glasses. I've had these for about a month or two. But yes, they're pretty new. They're Blue Tech tinted champagne. These are my other Blue Tech glasses, because I'm at the computer a lot, which are not tinted champagne. But they're sliding down my face. So I had to get a new pair of glasses. Okay, so what else are we looking at? You know, the South Node in Sagittarius, North Node in Gemini. All year long, folks, we're going to be looking at these eclipses that coincide with the Sagittarius-Gemini split, and that is what? What is the problem? What? Why do you not allow yourself to expand? No matter if you are a Sag, Gemini, Sun, Rising, or Moon. So as I was talking about Pluto in Capricorn is there for a few more years. And so Capricorn, Sun, Rising, Moon, Cancer, Sun, Rising, Moon especially feel it the most. But everybody feels it. And because it's not doing it to you, it's a part of you that says, I want to feel safe. I want to feel secure. And I don't know what I trust. So I have to find something and attach to it and then trust that. And then if that doesn't work for me, I'm still going to believe it for a while until all roads point to somewhere else. So I think it's important that if you see where, and very quickly, I am going to do this next Thursday on the 27th of January. I'm going to show you exactly where for each sun, rising, and moon sign, where the Aquarius vibe is, vibing and what the frequency is all about. But right now, just in essence, when you look at what you can do, realize that the more conscious you are, the greater your expansion. Your body can only hold so much frequency. Now, sometimes a new frequency comes in. It's in the way of a concept or an experience, positive, negative, neutral, and you say, oh, with Spock precision, fascinating. And then you start exploring, what does that really mean to you? What does this experience mean to me? Without going back to the old definitions. Because that's where you're going to get tripped up. Does that make sense? Christine says, so much easier to give than to receive. Right? But the humbling part of receiving is when you allow someone to help you. That's when you realize people that you weren't expecting come into play in the picture. Or information comes your way. It doesn't have to be an actual person you know. It can be you're researching something, you're not finding it. It was funny. A long time ago, I think I mentioned this before, I was talking to a friend on the phone, and he's like, hey, how's it going? And I said, I'm really frustrated right now. And he said, why? And I said, I've spent so much time on the internet looking for a specific aspect regarding the lunar eclipses. And I can't find it. And I know it exists. And he said, well, what does it mean? And so I started to tell him. And he's like, well, maybe it's not there because... And I was like, oh my gosh, because I haven't written it yet. That was a humbling moment. It was such a humbling moment because I'm always thinking, well, somebody knows more, and they do. So I go looking to see what other people are talking about, and do I believe it? And let me do my own calculations if it's related to astrology. Let me do my own findings if it's related to metaphysics, because I'm adept at feeling the energy before I understand the calculation. So, Vicky, hi Vicky, Saturn is in Aquarius in the 4th house. But my Mercury is, so you were born with the Mercury in retrograde? So, if a person is born with the Mercury in retrograde and Mercury goes retrograde, you usually have a clearer time of understanding what's next. You have forward advancement during Mercury in retrogrades. And for you, since Aquarius, I don't know the degree right now, but is Aquarius in your 3rd or your 4th house, you will have awarenesses regarding the way you think, what you perceive, your beliefs, and or how it affects your home life and what you value. And any relationship you might have or not have with a maternal figure. So, we'll talk more about that next week on the 27th when I'll be back. I'm mixing up the Moonology cards, Yasmin Boland. And by the way, when I recommend cards or anything, I don't receive any kind of percentage or, of the profits, although there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just declaring that I don't. If I did, I would tell you. But I like her cards. Moonology cards. So I'm going to pull one. Sasha, I'm Gemini rising while being an Aquarian Moonian. Aquarius moon, man, you guys got to get over. I know so many Aquarius moon people. You guys got to get over that there's not enough. And that money is the answer. It's not. And that having, look at the bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture, also known as full moon in Sagittarius. Look at the bigger picture. What's the bigger picture? Do you believe, if you believe, and I'll get back to this in a second, but if you believe that you have the power to move your energy to create an outcome, okay, now people hear that and they go to extremes. They're like, well, how come I haven't won the lottery yet? It's like, because a part of you believes that you're not worthy of it, because you don't know how, because it's not going to happen. That's why. So that's why I say, if you have the power to believe, then go further into your body, connect with your higher self and say, please show me. Let's download some convo. I want to have a conversation with my higher self during this Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius. And what does that feel like? Because the moment you start saying, yes, I resonate the frequency of abundance, I resonate the frequency of, divine awareness, I resonate the frequency of joy, there's a little voice behind me that goes, yeah, no, you don't. That's the person we want to talk to. That's who we want to talk to. And not to give it credence more than what it is saying in the moment, but not to argue with it, not to try to coerce it, but to hear it, to recognize that part of you that says, no, it's not going to happen. Yeah, it's not going to. Told you. Because when you feel that, that's the part of you that's going to create a big time wave that stops the other waves. So it's okay to feel it. Once you feel it, that's your Pluto coming out, showing its colors. I saw that. That's okay. I spoke to someone not too long ago when I said, how are you? Oh, I'm great. I'm doing this, this, and this, and this, and this. And yet they are completely trying to hide from me the pain and suffering that they are feeling and their behavior, which I see anyway, and I don't acknowledge because they're not talking to me about it. None of my business. So that kind of contradiction shows, that's what you want to pay attention to in this Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius, okay? Because it's really going to help you understand why you're not getting the thing that you want, why you're not moving in a direction that you would like to move, why you might feel in stasis or stuck, or, it's never working out, or I work so hard and I still don't get it. You get it. You have already gotten it. And your higher self, you might consider talking to your future self, because that's also part of your higher self. And you can do a little meditation where you sit, this is what I do, might help you. You sit quietly after you have had something very healthy to drink, something nurturing, but you're not so full that you can't focus. It's not like falling asleep after a heavy meal, but you want to be relaxed. Listening to music, chanting Deva Premal, isochronic tones, binaural beats, theta waves, listening to frequencies that help you to move beyond the current vibe. And then once you get comfortable in your body and you're relaxed, but you're not slouching, you're not falling asleep, but you're nice and calm, that's when you tune into your higher self. Hey self, I'm here. Anything you want to share? Is there anything you'd like to share with me? Because I'm ready. That's it. You're ready. You don't have to be specific about what it is you're ready for, but just be open to being ready. And then you might hear a whisper. You might feel a feeling, and it might be a sadness. And suddenly you have a thought about someone you had an argument with 5 years ago, or something, where there's a disagreement or conflict with another person or an issue or a situation or something that was out of your control, and then the feelings come. The moment the feelings come, it's like saying, my higher self is going to tell me, I see something you're avoiding. So let's go there if you're willing. And I say, yes, I'm willing. And then I say, I'm feeling a little angsty. This was the other day. I was feeling angsty. Didn't know why. And I didn't want to put it on something like, oh, see what they did. Yeah, I don't like to go there. I might go there for 30 seconds and then I don't, because it's a waste of time. And I said, but I'm feeling angsty. Is it just, am I feeling everything? Which, yeah, is the answer. Or is it something specific that I'm not willing to look at? That's the question. And then I was shown a feeling that I hadn't felt in a very long time. And with it came images, like very fast, blippy images of where I was not in control of a situation. And then the defense that came up around it. I thought, that's what I've been feeling. Thank you. Right? So I don't go back into the, oh my God, and I didn't, and they couldn't, and they wouldn't, and I can't. I didn't go back there. I went to, oh, I get it. That makes perfect sense. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for my higher awareness for pointing me in the right direction. Then I did a round or 20 of EFT tapping to let go of that feeling and minimize that feeling. And then I woke up the next day free. And the whole thing about Aquarius energy is freedom. Freedom. What feels free? So let me just tune in. Thank you, Elaine. Cancer energy. I love the bigger picture. I'm so happy. And you're welcome. Sasha. I'm a Pisces sun, so monetary means are more towards the bottom of my list. Okay. So you can bring up the monetary by saying to yourself, and this is for everyone. People are always asking me, well, I want to focus on this. And I say, okay, but in order for you to excel at that, we have to go to those 6 other places that come first. And then we go to those places and then they say, but hey, we didn't focus on that. And it's like, yeah, but we did. Because when you cut out the ties to all the things that you've been hanging on to over here, I'm getting a hiss. You make space for the bridge to create, to emerge that already exists from your higher self. Here's the bridge. You want a solution to that, and you're focused on that, and you're focused on that, and you won't let go of that, and that's the thing, and that's the thing, and that's the thing. And then you go, it's not happening. See? And the 95% of your unconscious and the amygdala says, see? Told you, it wasn't going to work. So we want to stop attaching. We want to be fascinated, like Spock. We're going to be fascinated by the fact that you have the ability to be aware of a part of you that is constant, like a radio station, a record player, a thing that won't stop. And you say, wow, that's fascinating. It's in the back of my mind. I hear it. Let me bring it forward. Thank you, higher self, for pointing it out that I can do that. Yeah, got it. I'm being asked to take a pause. Connectivity between here and where I want to get to is reliant on the threshold, the bridge. I call it the bridge or the threshold, right? And the world that is liminal. You have one foot in the past that says, I know who I am or who I was and what I don't want and what I've done and what I did want and what I got. And now you've got a foot in the future saying, I know what I want and what can happen, but I don't know if that part of me in the past is going to let that happen. That's where you come into the future by being in the present. Come into the future by being in the present. So Sasha says, my current battle right now is learning how to deal with my repressed emotions, conflicts of my ego is my war. Oh, I'm sorry. Hello. We do not battle. We move energy. There is no war. There is no war. With war, we have opposition. With opposition, no one is ever going to win. Ever. because that's the resistance. The moment one part of you goes, oh, I have emotions I'm not paying attention to. Isn't that fascinating? All right, I'm going to go over there and focus on something I love and focus on something that gives me great joy, because that will then diminish. Does that make sense? There is no fighting. We do not fight. We Doctor Strange the shit out of things, people. We are mojo mystics. Rhonda, I love that character development. How freaking cool. It is, right? That is going to be one of my processes after I release my astrology masterclass, in showing you how to actually use astrology and metaphysics to create worlds. Not just in writing, if you're a writer, yeah, but for conflict resolution. Although there's lots of fighting in my books, because right now we're in the 7th century. And, by the time we get to the 11th and 12th novels, yeah, we're moving energy. Does that make sense? I'm going to mix up some more of Yasmin's cards. Just give me a sec here. I'll be back next Thursday, the 27th of January. Can you believe it? January is almost at an end. What? This was our segue into a new year and a new vibration. Okay. So for the Aquarius Retrograde, January 30th to February 20th. Ooh, flew. Oh, all right. We like this. And it's green, so I have green screen, so you can't really see the green. You are good enough. Full moon in Virgo says you are good enough. When I pull these cards, it doesn't mean that's what the moon phase is right now, because if we see, the moon is in Taurus right now, which has to do with values and security, by the way, and feeling supported. So I want you to support yourself in a way that is very tangible. You're hungry, eat something healthy. You're tired, rest for 10 minutes, meditate, do a crossword puzzle. You're scrambling to deal with your emotions. Let yourself feel. I now allow myself to feel. I appreciate my feelings. Let's go into appreciation, because you're good enough. You're good enough. You are enough. Always. You are enough. So I'm going to leave you with this. Something you could work on during this week is, we're not going to battle. We're going to move energy. We're going to move our vibration, and all this Aquarius stuff that is trining, sextiling, which is a positive angle, and Mercury to the South Node. We're letting go of the past in big heaps, in big gummy, sticky heaps. And what you can say to yourself is, I resonate the frequency of abundance. And then if that voice comes out and says, no, you don't. You're fat, you're stupid, you're ugly. They don't want you. You still have bills to pay. I resonate the frequency of appreciation. I appreciate, and then start naming things. And it lowers the volume on that voice that does not serve you. What do you value? What do you appreciate? What are you grateful for? I look outside and say, it's going to rain and possibly snow this weekend. I am so excited. I'm so happy. I appreciate weather. I appreciate you. I appreciate how you appreciate you. I appreciate your appreciation. How's that? I appreciate my new glasses that are burgundy, that match my glasses and my clothes and my kitchen countertop. Does that make sense? Christine is more than enough. Well, pass it on. Don't hold back now. I love that. All right. And I'm being probed to prompted, not probed. I beg your pardon. I'm being prompted to use the Astro Dice. Okay, so what are we keeping in mind this week is what's possible, how do we get there? The universe shows you the how, but focus on the limitations inside by connecting with your higher self and start appreciating your appreciation. Start appreciating what you have in as many moments as possible. I appreciate fill in the blank. I am so grateful for fill in the blank. I now resonate the frequency of appreciation. I resonate the frequency of hope. I resonate the frequency of awareness. I resonate the frequency of radiant, vibrant health. I resonate the frequency, fill in the blank. All right, Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius. All right. This is what it looks like. It looks like Sagittarius, which is Jupiter. What is possible? Where can I expand? What does it feel like? It feels like Jupiter. Where can I expand? Where does it take place? In the seventh house with relationships. Primarily spouse, whether or not you have one, and the reason for that, and what's going on in that department. And also higher end clients, your fans, support, open enemies, your people you have discord with. But it has more to do with what is your relationship in service to others, in a marriage, in a partnership, and how can you expand on you, which naturally helps the relationship expand. Okay? All right, folks, I'll be back on the 27th, and we're going to be talking about where Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius shows up for each sun, rising, and moon sign. Bye-bye. As always, I wish you peace. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being, and we'll see you next week.